Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open on a maximum security asteroid floating somewhere in the Milky Way. The warden Zane glides in on his little hover platform to report that they have 8 dangerous creatures in captivity called the Krites. These savage furballs cause an explosion to escape and somehow steal the warden's spaceship with their tiny little arms. Zane hires 2 bounty hunters who dress like the meanest mothers in outer space but look like a pair of glow sticks from the neck up. These luminous balls of wax are shapeshifters who melt into their appearances and divide up the name ugly between them. Zane pays them to destroy the furry fugitives because the stress they've caused has given him this tumor, so the intergalactic exterminators get to work. They track the cretins across the galaxy to Earth, so Zane contacts Team Ugly by holo projector and says please don't blow up the planet this time. Unfortunately they can't hear him over the television being beamed directly into their eyeballs for the true human experience. Ugg comes across the rockstar Johnny Steele, so takes his appearance because he also wants hair that hits doorways when he enters. Meanwhile, on a small farm in Kansas, the 14-year-old Brad makes sticks of dynamite with an alcoholic man named Charlie. The simpleton works for the kid's father Jay Brown, who patiently tells them to stop blowing holes in his farm instead of smacking them both. His daughter April arrives with her new boyfriend Steve, so Farmer Brown asks the important things like how much hay can fit in his daddy's Porsche. Speaking of trunks, Charlie accidentally slingshots April in hers, so she assumes it was Brad and chases him inside past their mother. The boy pleads the fifth with Helen but still takes the blame, so that he gets sent to his room by Dad instead of firing Charlie. However, this means that he'll miss out on the delicious looking dinner of par-boiled corn, a loaf of white bread and plain milk. Only the patriarch is allowed to touch the sweet tea while the kids leave early to go fornicate in a field, as is farmer tradition. Brad climbs out his window and is halfway down the tree when he sees what he assumes is an asteroid crashing down to Earth. April feels the Earth move inside the barn, but Steve thinks he's just rocking her world while Charlie gets the best view on his ride home. Stopping for a swig of his energy drink, he can clearly see that this thing is a spaceship but drops his bottle, so it's straight to the liquor store. Jay goes outside to see to the animals but finds Brad claiming to have been thrown out his window and into the tree by the quake. I don't think Dad buys the story but brings Brad along with him anyway to the landing site where the Krites have begun their search for food. Before they even see the ship, the Brown boys come across a half-eaten animal carcass, so run straight back to the house because they aren't as dumb as they look. Deputy Jeff, on the other hand, certainly is, because he crashes his patrol car to avoid what looks like a tumbleweed made out of hair. He gets out to check if the ball of lint is okay, but it kills him because it was a critter and he's a big piece of meat. The nearest place is the Brown family farmhouse, where one startles Helen while it's window shopping for its next meal. They try to call the police but the power goes out, so they go to the circuit breaker but find it's been torn to pieces. Jay sees what he thinks is their pet cat Chewbacca but is suddenly attacked by what looks like a bunch of rabid raccoons with dwarfism. They bite chunks out of him but Jay bludgeons them with a hammer and escapes the cellar, but is now badly wounded for the entire movie. Instead of getting in the car or looking for their daughter, they just put some bandages on the wounds and wait for help to magically arrive. Outside in the barn, the kids are enjoying their roll in the hay when the critters bite off Slippery Steve's fondling fingers. One eats out his heart by the looks of it, while April's screams remind the family that they have a fourth member, so Brad comes running. He finds April fighting off the alien invasion with a broken pitchfork, so feeds the hungry little gremlin a stick of his homemade dynamite. It blows it up from the inside and they all retreat to the house, where Jay grabs the shotgun instead of going to the police or maybe even just animal control. Nearby, the bounty hunters arrive, but Lee still hasn't decided on a human appearance, so sports the glowing blobfish look. The only human around for him to mimic now is the dead cop, so he comes out looking like Zombie Jeff. Unable to use an Earth vehicle or shotgun, they blow a hole in the cop car's roof before reversing all the way into town. At the local church, Reverend Miller is talking about Sodom and Gomorrah, which always gets these young ladies going. The hunters crash into the entrance with their retractable cannon rifle things to ask if anybody has seen 8 violent furballs. Lee decides to change appearances into the preacher, but then for some reason blows up Grandma's pipe organ and his doppelganger's podium. They then just dip without waiting for an answer and go to the Bolorama in hopes that maybe these people have seen the Krites. Ugg destroys Elaine with his super strength, then goes to the bar where Charlie has been trying to warn people of the alien invasion and drinking, of course. Nobody here has seen the Krites, but Lee still can't make up his damn mind on who he wants to look like, so transforms into Charlie. They then destroy the building for no reason and walk off while Charlie raids the bar because everyone else ran away. Returning to the Brown residence, the family decide maybe they shouldn't wait to be killed, so try to reach the truck. They've left it too late and both vehicles have already been destroyed, so Jay fires one round but the critters all come tumbling out. They chase the family back to the house, where Dad empties his double barrel then pretends to be a chew toy to distract the aliens. Mom uses the gun like a club while trying to retrieve more bullets, and Brad has to run around to unlock the door because they forgot the key. Helen loads up a round and shoots a Krite in the face, but as soon as the family get inside, one dives through the window and shows us a new move. It fires a needle from its spine into her neck, causing Mom to go all woozy, so the family carry her upstairs while Brad grabs the shotgun. He takes out his second critter when accidentally shooting the ceiling fan and nearly crushing his own head, but it still counts. They chase him upstairs where Brad sets one on fire to hold them off, but it just rolls into the toilet and dunks itself out. The kids then put the fire out and barricade themselves inside the bedroom with the parents before deciding they need to make a run for it. Since Helen is just recovering from the needle and Jay is bleeding out, Brad volunteers to get the sheriff because April is slow. He leaves his sister protecting their parents with a PVC pipe, but finds a critter guarding his bike, so needs to run on foot. Another has continued eating the chickens and grown to an enormous size, while the others begin tearing up the house and bite the head off of ET. Brad reaches the road and flags down the police, but it's the intergalactic exterminators demanding to know where are the Krites. Brad says, "I don't know what a Krite is, but my family's being attacked by critters, so you help me and I'll help you find them." Elsewhere, Sheriff Harvey is woken up from his dream about the church groupie to learn that they were attacked by Johnny Steele and a shapeshifter. He gets a call from Sal and the people from the Bolorama, so decides to check on the Browns since they're the only ones in the whole town not accounted for. That's for good reason, as April is getting her boob grabbed by the giant critter, so Jay saves her with an aerosol flamethrower. Helen hears one at the door, so blows it to pieces, and the three must somehow escape with only one shot left. She completely whiffs it, but before she needs to use the gun as a club again, the hunters arrive and destroy the front of the house. Yay, I guess, and as they move through the house destroying the critters, the family get out, but Brad returns for the cat. He finds Chewie upstairs when getting attacked by the King Krite, but Ugg scares it away with a blast from his thingy-mabob. It kidnaps April and flees back to the spaceship, while Harv assumes that Lee is Charlie and gets thrown through a window for getting in his way. Brad tells the space cops to follow him and rides off, but their patrol car is busted, so everybody piles into Harv's for a sheriff sandwich. While tailing the critters back to their ship, Brad runs into the real Charlie, who's been doing his own holistic investigation on the side. He may be drunk, but he isn't stupid, so sends Brad into the alien ship alone while he waits outside with his other friend Jack Daniels. Brad climbs on board and manages to rescue April, but before he can light one of his explosives, the large Krite chases him around the ship. It's grown so big that the kid can avoid it through maintenance shafts and escapes, but dropped his firework without lighting it. The alien invaders begin departing Earth, but Charlie's problem becomes a solution when he turns his bottle into a Molotov cocktail. The drunk has a surprisingly accurate throw that sets the explosive off, but not before these little cretins take out their frustration. They destroy the family's home, but immediately join it as their ship explodes because that boy is building straight dynamite. With all of their targets eliminated, the bounty hunters give Brad a belt buckle and tell him to call them if he ever wants a sequel. In the morning, as the family look over the ruins of their home, the alien device makes a noise, so Brad presses a button because he likes to live life dangerously. It completely repairs the house like something out of Harry Potter, which means that Team Ugly are unnecessarily leaving these planets in ruins. As the small town returns to normal for all of about 2 seconds, the camera pans over to the barn where critter eggs begin hatching. And the movie ends.
I swallowed my chewing tobacco.